Hey, Winnie Anderson here, business strategist for mission-driven, introverted entrepreneurs and host of the Courageous Entrepreneur Show. The Courageous Entrepreneur Show is the podcast that shares information, tips, and strategies to help you break free from self-doubt, limiting beliefs, and disempowering patterns and break through to create the thriving, successful business you dream of and deserve. On Wednesdays, I'm here on Facebook Live doing the after show where I share additional tips and ideas that have come to me since launching the episode on Monday. Hey, Anne, this is actually, I know it's not Wednesday, this is a surprise episode, and because I'll be honest, I thought I did a crappy job on yesterday's episode. So I felt so badly about it that I wanted to make sure I came back on and I gave you really top information on how to maximize the value of your online networking. So I'm going to give you, I have notes here. I'm going to be looking down at them, and these are not necessarily going to be in any specific order, right? So sorry about that, but I really wanted to make sure that I made it up to you after yesterday, and loved having Anne and so many other people on for yesterday, but so here it is. So, okay, in Monday's episode, it was all about networking, and specifically offline networking, and we know that we hate doing this, right? But how do we maximize that value? So I'm going to include a link to that episode. I want you to make sure that, oh, that's so sweet. Anne was going to turn off her iPad until I showed up. That's so nice of you. So I'll include all the links to anything I refer to in the comment area, and I'll include the link to this week's episode. It was really very good, and I want you to make sure that you check it out, especially if you are an offline networker or you include that in your overall marketing strategy. And the person I interviewed was Patty DeNucci. She is an award-winning author. This book specifically won a couple of awards, so it really is good information. You can see I've got it dog-eared, pages marked, etc. And she is also a speaker, a conference leader, workshop facilitator, etc. So she's a fabulous person. So you want to connect with her and pick up her book, and I'll include a link to that. But I have transitioned to really doing 99% of my networking is done online. My entire business and life are really virtual at this point. And that was intentional. I want to create a business and a life so I can live wherever I want and do what I want, right? We want to have that freedom. We're lifestyle driven, many of us. So let's talk about how can you also maximize your time and value with your online networking. I know all of you are doing more online networking, and it can be a giant time suck too if you don't do it strategically and consciously. So again, stream of consciousness kind of tips here, and I'll share some additional thoughts with them. Please feel free to leave your questions, make comments in the comment area, even if you're watching this on replay, and I will circle back and I will respond, I promise. All right, so here we go. First of all, recognize that social media and social networking is super important in driving our business and in growing our reputation as experts, right? And that's really, and if you are saying to yourself, I'm not an expert, you need to rethink that, because nobody's going to hire somebody who's average, right? People want to work with the expert that is right for them. You are that segment's expert. Okay, so if you have issues with that language, I want you to really reflect on that later. So as we're getting more involved in this, though, I see people that just kind of post stuff willy-nilly or post way too personal information, and we'll talk a little bit about that next week when I talk about social media strategy and I interview someone around social media strategy as well. So I'm going to try and skirt this with just focusing on networking and not getting too much into the actual posting, and save that for next week. So, but you want to really be intentional, hence Patty's book, The Intentional Networker, and you want to be very strategic in your approach to this, okay? So number one, clarity is really the issue with everything we do, right? And often we don't get the results we want because we're not clear about what we want. We're not clear about what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So job one is for you to really sit back and ask yourself, what the heck do I want out of this? Why am I doing this? Why am I engaging in social networking? And it is perfectly okay for you to say, I'm just doing it for fun and to make me not feel as isolated and alone working by myself. Totally okay. Nobody's judging you. But the point is, you want to set a clear goal and you want to create a vivid picture of what successful online networking means and looks like to you. This is important, we know, from an abundance standpoint. It helps focus the brain and tell the brain, this is what we're doing, this is the outcome that I want, and this is super critical. So I would encourage you to actually write it down, to vocalize it. I actually have clients read their goals out loud, and it's very powerful. And then also, build it into your overall marketing plan, and that means having some level of accountability, right? So I hope that you're working with someone. I run groups that have an accountability feature. Have someone that you're reporting into, right? The studies have shown that that really does make a difference in achieving your goals. So define what success looks like to you and what that means to you. That's job one. The other thing is, I think, this is totally my opinion, I think that too many people are on the hunt for clients, frankly. I think an easier time and an easier strategy to implement is one where you look for referral partners. This does not mean that you have some kind of formal relationship, although they could become affiliates for your offerings, or you could develop even strategic referral relationships. And I'll talk about that kind of thing at a later date. But what you really want to look for, in my opinion, are those who work with your ideal audience, but who don't compete with you. Or maybe they serve the exact ideal audience. They do the same work, but they do it for a different segment than you do. I work with introverts, right? So there you go. If you were a coach too, and we worked on the same things, and you found somebody who was not a good fit for you, and they were an introvert, then you could send them to me, so that would be kind of a referral relationship, right? So you want to look for people who, Lisa Sasevich calls it complement, but don't compete, right? So you want to look for those people because they're the easiest to find. So you can identify them. And of course, you want to network with other top-notch people. So as you start seeing people, you start developing, getting to know them in their online postings and the information they share, you want to have some kind of qualification criteria that you then do a little bit of research. And I have a very open networking policy on Facebook. If somebody sends me a connection request, I'm probably going to accept it, unless we went to high school together and then forget it. But really, because this is a business that I'm running here, right? So I am pretty open, but the people who I decide to take things deeper with, I've done some level of vetting because I want to make sure that I'm referring to really great people. So, and we'll get to that again in just a little bit. So you want to make sure that you are looking at who serves your audience and who then would recognize that somebody has a need that you can fill, right? Dawn in the accounting, bookkeeping, finance area, she would be a great person for me to connect with, and she is a great person to connect with. And you know what? We should have a catch-up chat sometime, Dawn, because then I can help her recognize, hey, this person would be a great fit for me. That person would not be a great fit for me. Who is a great fit for you? And there you go. So, and that's really how this whole thing works. So, but I think that, and we know in offline networking, right, you go to these events and they're like sharks and they attack you. And it's like they want to sell to you and have a signed contract by the time dessert is served, right? That's so icky. So you don't want to be like that, right? So especially if you're introverted at all, you're all about, as I am, deep relationships. This is the perfect strategy to do that, right? So That's what you're really looking for, referral partners, and then just plain colleagues that you can refer to. I'm always looking for more VAs in my universe, because so many people I come into contact with need a VA, right? And there are all of these different specialties in the VA world. That's virtual assistant, if you're not familiar with that. So I'm always open to having a chat with a great virtual assistant who I can continue to refer work to. So I love looking for referral people. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And that means looking strategically at your existing network and seeing where the gaps are. And who do you need to know more of, right? Or who do you need to know, period, that you can refer to? And the more you can build your brand and build your focus, narrow that focus, go an inch wide and a mile deep, then the more confident you become that you really don't have competition, right? That's the nature of branding. There's plenty of business for all of us as we create that slice of a slice that I like to call it. All right, so next tip is identify your best platform to use and focus on one initially. I'm on all of the major social networking, social media sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and I'm going to be adding maybe to some others or not. So, but start with one, and you really want to build your presence and build your referral network from that one first. Then once you're getting good, then you can go into really focusing on this second segment. You might actually find that none of those big four are the right platform for you. You may find that you need a niche site, a niche network. There are a zillion of them out there, right? So you might just want to do a Google search for niche site and then start identifying where are your people. So again, you're thinking about where are large numbers of people who are going to be good referral partners. That's why for me, it's not really so much a niche site as it is a more broad site, because I can then build a whole network from that general site, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so next is you want to make sure that within that site, and this is why Facebook is so powerful for me anyway, you want to identify groups and individuals to connect with. Now, there are a bazillion groups out there. I'm not going to get into how to find the best groups. Search for them, right? Every social platform has a search box. Add some keywords and start looking. You can ask people what groups they're in, which ones do they find of value. But what I tend to look for is a group that has an audience of or members that are potential referral partners for me. It just so happens they can also be potential clients. That is not my focus, because I think that makes you shark-like, right? And it's just too scary. So, and it's too much pressure. So focus on finding referral relationships. So look for groups. The easiest way for me to do that, I take a class. Every class has a Facebook group as part of its benefits, right? And they're awesome. They're really great. That's a way for you to process the information, to stay connected with the guru or whoever is teaching that, and also then to build this relationship with people who you now have a shared language with. And that can be important for people to feel like you get them. Okay, so if you take a class, I strongly recommend that you take advantage of that particular group, but don't be limited by that. Also understand that there's going to be a limited number of groups. I'm in a million of them, and I cull through the list every now and then. There are going to be a limited number of groups that you can truly be active in. And that's the point, right? Just like offline networking, you want to become an actual member. You want to, people who tell me that, well, networking doesn't work, for me. Well, how many times did you go to a meeting? Once. Come on. This is all about building relationships, and you can only build relationships when you go to these events on a regular basis. Part of it is consistency. So you want to choose groups that you really care about and that you are willing to put in the effort for, right? Those groups that I'm really active in, probably less than half a dozen. If you cannot find groups that are right for you, right? You got to get in there and test the waters a little bit. Start one. But don't just be adding people because you want them, right? Ask people, do you want to be part of this group? And then be respectful. And if they say, no, I'm so filled and so overwhelmed, come back to me later, but I can't be in any more new groups, right? Please don't, and this is true for me, please don't add me to another group because I'm already overwhelmed. Feel free to invite me, and maybe when I drop one, I might be open to joining yours, but I'm in a lot, so please don't do it. So, okay, so if you, and we'll talk about how to start a group at another point, but if you can't find any, start your own, be the leader, right? Or offer to support somebody by being the admin. I'm an admin for a group that I was just joined recently. So, okay, so next is you want to make sure that you are then sharing great information. Share great content that fits for that group, that's on topic. Don't be in there trying to do all kinds of, bizarro off-topic stuff. Honor and respect the leaders, the managers' parameters. There are a lot of groups that say there's no selling in here. That's also a benefit, but what it requires then is for you to truly demonstrate, I call it pre-selling. You're really demonstrating the quality of your knowledge, what it would be like to work with you. You're sharing some personality elements, but you want to make sure that you are always sharing really great content. Don't do what somebody else did. I had somebody who shared a link to a great sounding article, right? This was a while ago, and I clicked on it and I'm like, this is BS. This is obviously like clickbait article farm kind of stuff. And I messaged her and I said, I don't think you really meant to send this. I don't think, did you look at it? And she said, no, you know what? I didn't. How embarrassing. I saw the title and shared it. Don't do that. Make sure that you are sharing stuff from reputable organizations and that you at least skim this article. Maybe save it later, but you want to say, hey, I just wanted to share this with you guys because it looks like it's on point for, whatever problem or issue that we're addressing. So make sure you're sharing your best content, be your best self, and share really great tips. This is truly how you pre-sell and how you position yourself as a trusted advisor. I know that's what you want to be. I know you don't want to be, the little shark person, right? You don't want to do that. So just trust that the universe is going to reward you, right? You got to give to get, right? We all know that. All right, on. So next is make sure that you then invite people who look like they're nice people and look like they would fit your, your parameters for being a potential partner. Or maybe it's somebody you just want to learn more about what they do so you can begin this process of, do I want to refer to them? Are they a potential referral partner? So identify these people and then send invitations for connection calls. Now, connection calls are a whole nother conversation, but you want to make sure that when you do that, that you're going to be respectful of their time. Time is money, as we all know, and we have very limited, we've all got 24 hours to play with. We got to sleep for at least 6, right, of those hours. So you want to make sure that you are honoring that person and being respectful. Come with an agenda, know the questions that you're going to ask, know the points that you want to get out, but have an offline call out of that, or, you could have an online call, you know what I mean, out of that group, right? So you can have a really productive conversation. And what you're trying to do then is cultivate a relationship with them so that if they do leave that group, you have this relationship that, whether it's the friend or the follower or whatever you want, but that you have that relationship that is outside of that particular group or outside of the general platform. Next is maintain contact with them, right? I hear from so many clients, students, people who say, you know what, I reached out to that person, we had a nice call, I never heard from them again. Well, you know what, they're busy. Their life is busy. Anne says, now my fin's away. That's right, don't be a shark, okay? So people are busy, their lives are busy, and you know what, they know other people other than you. So you have the responsibility, in my opinion, to maintain that relationship, to help them see that you are a person that's deserving to keep in touch with, and keep them and help them keep you top of mind, right? There are other people in their life that they're thinking of, not necessarily you. So I do make sure you like their posts, share them. And, you know, with the screwy algorithm thing, who knows what you're going to see in your news feed, whether it's here or on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. So in that case, then you want to really make sure that you're making an effort to keep in touch and keep them informed of what you're doing. So I do that in several different ways, but I certainly make sure that people just know that I'm just keeping them abreast of, hey, in case you're interested, here's what I'm doing. But I do things like I have networking parties where my past show guests can come and, you know, we laugh and meet each other. And here is a great group of people who have that shared experience of being on my show. So, you know, then the audience that they're trying to reach is probably similar to yours if you're a past guest on my show, but you get the point, right? So I have those are strategies, but I also go into my messages periodically, my address book on Facebook, my friends, and I just go, I haven't heard from that person in a while. And I'll go over and I'll like some of their posts, you know, to tell the algorithm, hey, send me more of that stuff. And I'll say, hey, what's up with you? How are you doing? I'm totally comfortable with just exchanging messages and getting updated. But it's your job. It's my job to reach out to those people to maintain that connection, right? So don't be saying, oh, they won't keep in touch with me. Well, you know, they'll disconnect from you if they decide they don't want to keep in touch with you. Help them help you by staying top of mind with them. So also make clear, this makes me insane. Make clear when you are going to have a conversation with them, make clear that, okay, I'm going to share some information with you. This is the work that I do. So, you know, if you'd like to learn more, I'm happy to talk about it. But, you know, so I'll give you an example. So, and I shared this on the other episode. So I had somebody, I posted a question in a group, right? That's what you're in groups for. I posted a question in a group. Who thinks this about that? And people chimed in, and then this woman said, hey, you know, I could answer that question for you, but it's easier for us to have a dialogue. I totally get that, right? Rather than messaging back and forth. So I said, okay, that's great. Let's, you know, we'll set up a time to chat. My hair isn't on fire with this. So it's not like an urgent thing. She said, no, I can only talk to you at, you know, 2:00 on Thursday. I'm like, well, I have something at 2:30. Well, I have to talk to you then. All right. Well, she's got the information, right? So I'll be flexible. So I get on the call with her. We get on Zoom. I tell her now I've got 20 minutes because I've got a call at the half hour and I need a few minutes to get ready, right? Hit the bathroom, get my notes. Okay. She dives right into a sales pitch. I thought this was about my problem. I'll be honest with you, I don't care what you do, to be honest with you, because we're not there yet. I'm not at the point where you've proven to me that you are an expert in this area, and then I care. But right now, I'm just feeling like I'm being sold to. What's that about? That I really felt icky. And I was really tempted to completely leave the group. I was so offended. So if you're going to take some time and you think this person might be a good potential client for you and you want to share a little bit of information, right? I'm going to give this to you. Just tell them, hey, this is the work that I do with my clients. I've got years of experience in this. How about if I take 30 minutes and I answer your questions? I'm happy to do that. Great. Now I know this is the work you do. I understand the mindset that you're coming from when you answer my question. And who knows, I might really be inspired to talk to you. So now we have this conversation, and she could have said, hey, do you have time for me to just share a few minutes about how I help people around this? I'm polite. I would have at least said yes, or gee, I don't have any time, but let's touch base. Send me some information, message me about that. So Ann says, are you doing virtual networking parties? Yes, I am. I actually do. I do virtual networking parties right now, specifically for my current and past clients. And I do them also and technically you're a past client, right? Because we did some coaching work around your messaging. I also do networking parties for my past show guests. And so if you've ever been on my show, you'll be getting an invitation to the next one soon. And I'm planning on expanding this party kind of concept because it's working really well and it's a lot of fun and it takes the pressure off, right? So yes, and so you might want to think about doing that as well. They're lots of fun. Hey, Mimi, nice to see you. So, okay, so let's keep moving here. So you want to make sure, so like I said, if you're going to talk to somebody and give them some free information, then you want to just let them know, hey, this is the work I do. So if you're interested in taking this farther, I'm happy to explain how I work with people. Or here's a link to that sales page that explains this offering, that sort of thing. People get that you have to make money. That's don't be offended, right? So sales is all about educate, elevate, inspire, and invite. It's just those 4 steps. So you're not selling. You're just saying, hey, I just helped you. If you'd like to take this deeper, I can help you even further. And this is what this would be then the level of the client relationship, right? So here's how to get that if you want more. Okay, no one is going to be offended. And if you're afraid that they're going to be offended, then that's a mindset. It's a story that you're telling yourself. Okay, so you want to, like I said, if you can't find a group, create one. Make sure you give in order to get. Don't keep score. I know that's frustrating when you feel like you keep putting out good content and sharing tips with people and you don't see that you're getting something. So this is you being impatient, right? And I'm going to then challenge you to get back to getting clear about exactly what it is that you really want. Paint that picture. When I say clarity, I believe that you should be so clear that if I was a policeman, you could give me the description of what you wanted and I could go and arrest them. Right? So think about it from that standpoint. Are you creating such a vivid word picture that your brain really does know what you want? So, and then also can challenge yourself to continue to get more clear, because impatience tells you that you're focusing on what you have, which is what you don't want. You want to then feel that recognition and then get clear about what you do want so you can put the focus on what you're trying to get and create. I hope that makes sense. So, all right. So make sure that, I would hope this goes without saying. I know to you guys it does go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. Treat people with kindness and respect. Honor their time. This isn't all about you. And again, when we feel that pressure and that anxiousness about, but I need clients, you're not going to get any. Because again, you're focusing on what you don't have and you create that vibe of desperation and neediness. Nobody wants to work with anybody who's needy. And if you're that good, what are you so needy about, right? So you really want to come from a position of, this is, one peer to another. It's respectful. I want to learn about you, help you learn about me, and maybe we have a chance to share some resources, share some connections, etc. And always think when you're meeting with that person, what do you want? More connections like you. That's what I want. More connections like you. Because really, it's all about getting your message out, right? So the more great people you can get your message out to, the better time you're going to have to get referrals. Because more people are now knowing what you do. They're thinking about what you do. So this really comes down to clarity and clarity around your message so that you're helping people understand the problem you solve and the value that you give. All right. So treat people with kindness. Like their posts. When you're connected to people and you see their posts, like them, share them. And again, you're only going to see a limited type of posts because of the algorithm thing. So go into your message, your messages, but also go into your friend list or your contact list on LinkedIn and find people and go, oh yeah, that person, let me see what they're doing, and like their stuff. Tell the algorithm, hey, send me more of this, but also comment on them. Let them know that you're here, right? Build that relationship and show them that you're a kind person. People will end up reciprocating. So don't keep score. Okay. If you're not finding that you're making the connections that you want, again, it's clarity, but also then that's a great reflection exercise on, why isn't this working for me? and take responsibility for it. What could I do to create a better connection with people, to help people share my stuff? Maybe you're on the wrong platform. Maybe you have bad friends, but you want to always think about you and how can you take ownership for being better and bigger, bigger and better you. Engage in real conversation as much as you possibly can. As I said, be respectful. Always assume people are coming from a good place, right? Don't judge. When you say, oh, that person didn't like my post or that person doesn't pay attention to me, you're judging them, right? Always assume that person is so overwhelmed and busy. I'm going to rattle their cage. I'm going to share this post again. I'm going to just tag them and say, hey, did you see this? I was thinking of you when I posted it. Or share that message. So really, really focus on being the leader, being the good person, and always assume people are more confused, frustrated, and overwhelmed than you are, right? Because it's not about you. Don't put the emphasis on getting clients. Put the emphasis on getting your message out, building great relationships. I shared in the other episode that there's this study that's been done that analyzes how many people you can really have a great relationship with. So if you're an introvert or you're shy, this is great news because it's about building relationships. It's not necessarily about having bigger numbers, although yes, that's very nice. But even out of that bigger number, have core relationships with this core number of people that you really do want to cultivate connections with. And personally, I'll get into this. This is a teaser for next week's episode then. I share 90%, 80 to 90% of useful information, and it's 10 to 20% personal or self-serving information, right? So I share my episode, I do this show. This is self-serving, but I like to think I get away with it because I'm giving you great information, I hope, right? So, but then I might share, hey, I'm running this event, and I'm having this webinar. Here's a book that I'm launching. So my intention is that if I give more positive, I will benefit, right? That's the reap and sow. Networking is like farming, right? You're planting little seeds, you're going to fertilize them and nurture them, and you're going to trust that they're going to grow big and strong, but they need the right conditions for those relationships to grow, right? I'm going to be doing some gardening this weekend, so I have gardening thoughts in my head. All right, my friends, the lovely Dawn says, all of this is gold. Mwah, thanks, Winnie. Oh, big thanks to you, Dawn. I'm so glad you were able to be here today. So, and we really do need to chat. All right, so my friends, this has been Winnie Anderson, business strategist for mission-driven, introverted entrepreneurs, and host of the Courageous Entrepreneur Show. The Courageous Entrepreneur Show airs on Mondays, and it is a video and audio podcast. And on Wednesdays, and sometimes surprise days, I'm here sharing additional information and insight in the after show. If you like this information, please share it with your connections so they can get this insight as well and see what a smarty you are. And certainly subscribe, send me a friend request. And if you would like to learn more about how I help introverted, mission-driven coaches, consultants, and experts to come out of hiding, stop under-earning, stop underachieving, and playing small, and build the business and success they dream of and deserve, just shoot me a private message. I'm happy to chat with you. I will share links in the comment area so you have the links to all the things that I referred to. And I will be talking to you soon. I got to run. I have a group meeting actually at 10:30. So I'll catch up with you. Bye for now.